Good morning, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and yes, we're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do, the usual disclaimers. If you can tell, a combination of allergies and the fact that Wayfair is having 5 days of sales, my voice is just pleh. So if you want to know why I almost have no voice and it's this early in the morning, that's why. Send help. Send help. Send all the help. Alright, folks, in the description box, you are going to find a link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It is written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by Autistics for Autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's quote-unquote behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they do not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has, of course, refused to comply, so please read that article and share on all your social media. You're also going to find in there linked NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding in case the JRC has the balls to see through with their threat. We also have the links to the Agape boarding school situation. Agape boarding school is a Christian-themed boarding school that takes in troubled male teens based out of Stockton, Missouri, that has, and pending, over 21 substantiated claims, lawsuits as of right now, whose claims have been substantiated, that are alleging sexual abuse, physical abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, starvation, and yes, even child trafficking. As of right now, we have had one former staff member arrested by the FBI. We also have another, a former doctor that was on the premises that is up on charges after claims have been substantiated of multiple cases of sodomy and sexual abuse. So please, folks, read those articles, share them on all your social media. Our Attorney General Eric Schmidt has fumbled the ball so badly that we need help, folks. So please help us get out there what's happening in this place. We also have the change.org Shut Agape Boarding School Down petition. Please sign and share on all your social media. We also, of course, as always, have the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, folks, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of peoples with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you do have young children present, please, folks, parental supervision is advised. All right, folks, it is stupid early. It is 4:24 a.m. in the morning. I am not awake, and I'm already frustrated after reading the first paragraph of what we're going to be going through this morning. So if I stumble over my words, folks, apologies in advance, all right? All right, so where we left off yesterday, get ready for this insanity. Here we go. Altering the consequences that the inappropriate behavior produces. So once again, we're a school, but we are more focused on the behaviors than we are education. Here's something I don't get, JRC. It seems your whole so-called school is geared around absolutely fucking nothing but behaviors. You are a school, not a clinic. So my question becomes, when is it going to start being about education? This is something I've always wondered. Every other single school that takes in people like me, the main focus is on education first, and then the treatments as needs be if it's a residency school. All they seem to care about is the behaviors. This is why, JRC, in spite of the lies you try to blow up our ass here, that you are so far behind every other state in meeting the national requirements for graduation. Because you are so focused on behaviors and forcing us to behave neurotypical, or at least be quiet and comply and accept abuse, that you lose focus of the fact that you're a school. And what is a school's job? To educate. You're not educating them. You say, but we can't because of the behaviors. Maybe start thinking about this logically. Work on what's triggering the behaviors and provide reasonable accommodations. God fucking forbid you actually do your goddamn job in that area. And it makes it a lot easier, and I speak from personal experience here, once you deal with those trigger issues and accommodate accordingly, it then makes it that much easier for us to focus. Also, not a surprise, these kids are not meeting the requirements when you are forcing them to earn every bite of food. Every research study in the world has indicated that a student learns and is easier for them to concentrate if they are doing it on a full stomach. It's kind of hard to focus on your education, whatever computer program you've conjured out of nowhere, if you're on a full stomach as opposed to if you're starving, because all you're thinking about is food. Just saying. The saying is all. In addition to the use of verbal instruction and modeling, which, when applied to case-hardened behaviors, are all too often insufficient, effective by themselves, we can also program the following changes and the consequences that immediately affect the problematic behavior. Let me start with you, JRC. You want to know why they're not working? You want to know why it's insufficient? It's not because, well, the punishment is just not harsh enough. No, Karen. Nah. It's not working because you're acting over a presumption that is false. That presumption is the one that is prevalent throughout ABA, which is why it's a garbage practice. It's the presumption that these behaviors that come out serve some kind of purpose. Not all of them do, JRC. Some of them are literally just part of our neurology. That's simply how our brain is wired. But people can't seem to wrap their heads around this idea that we are not like you. We're not trying to get attention. We're not trying to manipulate it into an outcome. And we sure as hell are not trying to impress our neurotypical peers by engaging in that behavior. We're well aware of the fact that such behaviors paint even a larger target on our back than is already there. We understand these things. Yes, JRC, even the nonverbals get it. Okay? Get it out of your head that we are getting something out of these behaviors, or that we're trying to get something out of behaviors, or that we're wanting attention, or whatever neurotypical motivation you want to put on it. Quit presupposing that you fucking know everything, because you don't. Matter of fact, if that's your presumption, you don't know a goddamn thing about a single one of us. As long as you keep acting on that presumption, it's never going to work for you. It's never going to work because you're operating off a false premise. Do you have any idea how frustrating that is for those of us who have to undergo that bullshit? But this is how you act to get positive attention. Again, I'll say it. What in God's name makes you think I want your fucking attention? But you're acting out. No, I'm not acting out. I'm acting as a person within my own neurology. Understand that our brains do not function like yours. Talk to us. Ask us what's going on in our heads before the behavior happens. Research and dig. Like they say in sales, discovery questions, discovery questions, discovery questions, and you might find out what that trigger is. And then guess what? You can move from there. Stop operating off the premises that you know what's going on when you fucking don't. Okay? It is the most annoying thing on the planet. Okay? You don't know us. You have no idea, in actuality, what causes the behaviors. We're the person with the diagnosis. We do, by and large, know what triggers the behaviors. Fucking ask us. This is why person-centered planning will always be, in my opinion, 1,000 times better than any ABA or any other kind of treatment, because it requires the treatment team to sit down, shut up, and listen. It requires them to ask us questions to get to the root of an issue, and then acting accordingly. Not just presupposing that you know everything and imposing a bunch of bullshit that forces look more neurotypical to make you people more fucking comfortable. We are tired. Neurotypical society. We are tired. Tired. That we're the only ones in this inclusive, diversive world that have to pretend to be somebody else every single day of our lives in order to be accepted. It is 2022. Pull your heads out of your asses, all right? We've been meeting you over halfway. We've been doing all the goddamn work for our whole entire lives. Maybe it's time you start doing some work. Okay? So let's move on here. Extinction. Make sure that if the behavior occurs, it does not generate accustomed accelerating consequences. We can try to remove the accelerating consequences that are maintaining the problematic behavior at its current unacceptable level. We do this by arranging conditions so that if the problem behavior occurs, the rewarding consequences will be minimized or withheld entirely. Here we go, stick and carrot again. That is, we arrange or minimize or eliminate any of the commotion or aggravation that normally ensues when the alarm is pulled, or any approval from peers. Again, here we go. We're acting off false premises. What are they saying? You're doing it for attention. You know you want the attention. You're just doing it because you want to look good in front of your peers and you want our attention. No, I'm not, Karen. For the love of God, you act like we're a bunch of fucking 5-year-olds. You may have one autistic that might pull a fire alarm. Sure, fair. There is over 1 million, multiple millions of autistics all over the world. There's bound to be that one guy. All right? Bound to be that one guy. Did you ever think that the autistic might be pulling the fire alarm because they're trying to fucking escape? Ever think maybe they were creating a distraction so that they can get the fuck out of Dodge? Because guess what? Our motivations are not your motivations. If we are fucking overwhelmed, if we are trying to avoid a meltdown, especially in this hellhole where we know what the consequences are, it might be that that person is pulling the fire alarm so they can escape the triggering situation that's going to cause a behavior. So your due diligence as a professional would be finding out What was the situation that made the autistic feel like they needed to escape? Address it. Find a way to take care of that. And we won't pull the goddamn fire alarm because we feel a need to escape. Ever think maybe they're pulling that fire alarm for a chance to fucking run from you, psychopaths? I fucking would. Quit thinking that you understand our motivations. You don't. You don't understand our motivations because you are not us. Your brains do not work the same way that we do. As long as you keep presupposing this, as long as you keep putting on us the motivations of neurotypical children, then whatever program you put up is never going to work in the long term. Because what you think is going on is not actually what's going on. How the hell are you supposed to help us get better if you don't even understand what the actual problem is? God, I feel like a fucking robot now. I have to keep repeating over and over and over. Quit thinking that you know why the behaviors are happening, because you don't. First of all, none of us are fucking cookie cutter. They're different for each and every single one of us. We're individual human beings, JRC, not fucking cookie cutter two-dimensional Disney villains. Just saying. Rewarding appropriate behaviors. We can try and catch the student not engaging in a behavior under circumstances where in the past he or she engaged in behavior and reward this. At JRC, we also call this procedure rewarding non-programmed opportunities. Can I say it again? Stick and carrot is really not going to work for you. When you think you know everything about what's causing the behaviors and then acting accordingly, because you're acting off a false premise. This is why your so-called stick and carrot routine is insufficient with self-injurious behavior and any other behavior for that matter. Because you don't know why we're engaging them. You just think that you do, and then use your presumption to act accordingly. Quit presuming things. It's not that difficult. Stop presuming things and fucking talk to us. Why is this hard? And I'm talking about all of ABA here. Why is this a difficult concept to understand? There is numerous studies out there. Study after study after study that will tell you our brains are not the same. The wiring in our brains do not fire the same. Matter of fact, even the physical size of our brains is different than a neurotypical's. Ours tend to be slightly larger on average. So, what is my solution here? Stop with the presumption. And that's not just for you putting neurotypical child motivations on us, because that's real cute. We enjoy being influenced every second of our fucking lives. In case you haven't noticed, Karen, take a good long look. I'm not 5, nor am I neurotypical. Please get that through your heads. All right, come on now. Quit assuming. Because just like neurotypicals, by the way, our motivations are different depending on the person. And the behaviors come out due to completely different triggers. Because we are individual human beings first. Autistic's second. Okay? Just stop. If you do away with this concept that you know what's causing the behaviors, if we get rid of that, forget everything you think you know, because you don't, and go about it with a person-centered planning approach. And fuck you, JRC, because yes, we do have the data and the numbers. It fucking works. Yes, even for the nonverbals. Anyways, throw away the fucking key, folks. Throw away the notepads. Throw away everything that you think you know for each and every individual autistic human being. Because we are all different. And although we might have similar behaviors, the triggers behind those behaviors are going to be as different as the autistic person that you are dealing with at the time. Operate off of the idea that you don't know what's going on. Then, kind of like in sales, ask us discovery questions. Get in there. Figure out what's going through our heads that right before the behavior goes. What's triggering it? Brainstorm as to what can be done to deal with the triggering issue. It's not rocket science. It's common goddamn sense. I shouldn't have to tell a bunch of people with supposed so many clinicians and doctorates how to do their goddamn job, but here we are. Here we are, folks. Sit your arrogant fucking ass down. I don't care what they fucking told you in your college. Everything they told you is bullshit. Listen. And I'm going to close out on that. Brahma agrees, by the way. We don't get very many views on this channel, especially on this subject. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this morning. And as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.